Welcome back, everyone. Texas chose a company to help build its new private school subsidy program. Technology company Odyssey will work with the Comptroller's Office to design how Texas families can get thousands of taxpayer dollars to cover their children's private or homeschooling costs. Here to talk more about this selection is reporter Jaden Edison with the Texas Tribune. Jaden, welcome, and thanks for being with us.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
So let's begin by discussing what Odyssey will be responsible for doing here in Texas.
Yeah, so I mean, very important and huge responsibilities, right? You think about the comptroller who oversees kind of the state's finances. They were tasked with selecting up to 5 of these type of organizations. They chose one, right, and it's Odyssey. And so basically, I would think of them from the standpoint, I mean, they're a vendor, right? And so basically their responsibility is going to be helping the state design the program, from figuring out how families are going to apply to the program, from managing complaints, collecting data. So pretty, robust and tremendous responsibilities, for the organization. And so, again, I would think of them as just an extended arm of the Comptroller's Office and really helping them roll out this program and get it ready and running for families. And then when it starts to run, managing kind of the day-to-day.
Undoubtedly a tall task for any company to be selected to do this. But the company, as you've reported, has had some issues in the past with other states that it's worked with. What do those include?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really interesting, right? I mean, so this program, the company was founded specifically to help states with the implementation, of these types of programs, which really is now a booming industry, if we're being honest. And so, what's happened is I'll give you an example, right? Think of a state like Idaho, for example, in which, at one point, Odyssey was, helping oversee the program. And so in that case, you had a state audit in which the state found that up to roughly $180,000 in unauthorized, purchases, under the program, in which, obviously Odyssey, given their tremendous role in that, all eyes were on them in that case. And so, they ultimately had to reimburse the state, for those, unauthorized transactions. You've seen different kind of what I would call quote unquote customer service kind of complaints from families who participated. There was one story, one quote in the news story by the investigative organization, news organization ProPublica, in which there was one parent who talked about it being rife with fraud, right, the system, and it being easily kind of cheated. And so those are certainly things that taxpayers care about, that the state's going to have to figure out if they want this to be a success. Yeah,
we'll be watching closely for that for sure. But families, if they're interested here in Texas in getting one of these education savings accounts, as they're officially called, when can they begin signing up to do that?
Right, so we don't have a specific date yet, but we do have a ballpark, and what we're hearing right now is it's expected to be sometime around early next year, 2026. So there are still some big steps that have to happen before then, right? There still has to be a process for private schools to apply if they want to participate in the program. So you have to imagine that'll probably happen before that. And then once that happens and they get that infrastructure set up, then I'm sure, we'll see again early next year sometime when those applications open up, and we'll see kind of what the interest is like.
And is it clear yet what the process will look like for a family to apply?
Well, that's certainly what Odyssey and the Comptroller's Office are kind of, going to have to figure out. So we don't have those answers now. And so it's a tall task, right? But they have until around May of next year to kind of finalize all the rules and procedures, just in time for the program to officially launch the 26-27 school year.
Well, Jaden, I want to say great job with your reporting. We'll, of course, be following what you write about this in the Texas Tribune. You can find that story on that website. But Jaden Edison, thanks again for being with us.
Yeah, appreciate you for having me. Thanks so much.